and also Simpson Virgins.
Whoa.
And welcome back to Krown's Magical Doom Cave.
How dare you again, after all we've spoken about, you are so disrespectful. I massively apologize for her. She's Finnish, and Finnish people have no manners. They weren't taught these things in schools, and that's why they are, well, they're pretty much irrelevant. Anyways, with that said, I would like to welcome you back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a glorious Tuesday over here. Bitcoin's doing all sorts of interesting things on all time frames right now, and this has been the culmination of the last 3.5 months that we've been waiting for, and there is plenty to talk about. With that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. Thank you for joining in this nice little early morning session, as it always is. The true crypto zombies from the Western Hemisphere joining us, as well as the, well, early risers over here in the Eastern Hemisphere. And Jordan Chen has beaten out, what? Jordan Chen has beaten out Scott Barney? What's going on here? I need to turn off the alerts, but actually to address your comment there, when Krown merch, no cap, we're actually actually do have a bunch of merch over here, but right now it's only for myself. But since there have been a lot of requests for this, I think we are going to be looking into options and opportunities that we can actually offer these sorts of things for anyone who is interested. I believe we might be able to do that. I'll have to speak with the designer once again, perhaps around early September if everything works out. Anyways, with that said, into the Krown trading application we go, which can be found at app.krown.net. There's a link to the description below. It is, by the way, 100% free, and it does have the most free data in all the internet lands that I am aware of. And if it's not, well, just let us know, and we're going to add whatever the hell you found that has more data than us. Anyways, with that said, Bitcoin dominance heading up. So yes, we did confirm that higher low on the Bitcoin dominance chart. I do still stick with my long-term analysis on Bitcoin dominance that it is going to go very likely above 50%, which is good. That is very, 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 very important to see Bitcoin lead these major rallies. We do not want to see this led by typical meme coin, altcoin bullshit. We want to be seeing it led by the top market cap, the big bad boys, namely Bitcoin, and to a lesser extent Ethereum right here, which is exactly what we do see, and that is good. It does signify a bit more of a healthier rally, amongst other things as well, of which we've been going over. Anyways, on top of that, fear and greed index is also at a 65. Actually, funnily enough, coming down a bit from yesterday to today, 74 to a 65 to be exact. We're still in the greedy zone, obviously, but more importantly, into the market data tab we go, because there's something very, 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 very significant right here. We do see the opal interest. Yes, there we go. I can't fucking speak. Sorry about that. The global open interest over here is making new highs once again. So we are maintaining the uptrend right there. This has been very, very important with kind of helping us navigate this market over the past couple of months here. On the downside, we identified the bear trap at about $38,000, I wouldn't say easily, but as one of the components of that, alongside volatility and also volume as well. And then now we are looking at this breakout. It's very much real right here. So long term, I do very much like this. As I have said over the weekend, I strongly believe that the long-term low is in. And more importantly, there's just, even if it's not, there's a very easy way to kind of be judging that now. Meaning, as long as Bitcoin's above 32,000, I'd even go as far as saying 33,000 bucks now. There's no talks of any sort of major, massive new lows to be made. And when, talks of like 20,000, 15,000, even 10,000 that I've seen around the web, I think is it's not really based on anything tangible or anything that I put too much faith in. Also, global exchanges net flows still actually showing a negative outflow today, which is good. Overall, people taking their coins off the exchanges. What are they going to be doing with that? Perhaps hodling. Oh, there he is, Scott Barney, with his XELA shill of the day. Love it, man. Fucking love it. Anyways, leverage ratio and the exchange's Bitcoin reserve still maintaining that downtrend, which is overall good for the long term. And I just want to check out over here on the fourth data tab. We still actually see GBTC holdings as flat. I really do like that as kind of a leading indicator for higher price action. Actually, it does work out pretty damn well. And then also over here, hash rate still maintaining, and more importantly, we got the signal that we were looking for. It's not necessarily the best timer of a buy, so to speak, but I do still like it. And then on top of that, the whale ratio did put in a lower high over here. Yes, it is still kind of floundering about, but overall, that would be a generally okay thing. Anyways, with that said, into the price action charts we go. It is time, my friends, to be looking at CME chart once again. I think this is just a more obvious chart right here. I'm looking at a 5-day, by the way, and a 5-day, by the way, it rhymes. So if it rhymes, you know that it's true. That's just the rule that it goes. Like, I always love it when someone tries to make a point and then it rhymes, and then they're like, that's it. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. It's like, okay, that makes sense. I will definitely acquit now. Anyways, looking at this right here, we are going to be closing the 5-day on CME specifically tonight at, I believe, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't quote me on that one. I'll actually have to double check on it. But overall, any sort of a closure above 45,000 bucks on CME specifically is going to be interpreted incredibly well by this market. And I would be looking for perhaps a little bit of a pullback, maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday region. But overall, I would be having a general upside bias from that to very likely test officially around 49,000, maybe even 50,000 bucks overall. That's where things become a very, 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 very interesting to myself, because as I have been saying, while Bitcoin does have this area that's kind of fraught with peril between the 618 Fibonacci retracement right here and also the 0.5, and also our CME gap coming in from 14th to 17th of May right here on the massive breakdown, that area is very, 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 very important, meaning also that if Bitcoin can actually clear above it on a higher term time frame closure, preferably at least a daily, something higher than that would actually be a little bit better, but daily probably will get it above 50,000 bucks. I would be willing to say that Bitcoin is well, we're gonna test up to like 56 or 57,000 bucks first before playing out any sort of major pullback. I do not think that that's actually what's going to happen. However, that would be the condition for me letting go of what I've been essentially saying for the past couple of months now, that Bitcoin very likely does find a bit of resistance, or a decent amount of resistance within this region right here. It's a rather massive region, about 3,000 bucks, but we are talking about a major macro move here, and this is a move that we've been looking for ever since, Bitcoin was kind of hanging on this region for the past 3 months, right? So if you are new here, understand that this is, we've already kind of seen $15,000 move, pretty massive move actually, if you want to measure this one out from signal given to next major high, almost a 50% move. You might say that that's significant. Or at least I would say so. So overall, right now is the time, at least in my opinion, to be a little bit more on guard. Although I do know that people don't necessarily like hearing that term, but overall, understand that if we are going to be looking for Bitcoin to continue on with a short-term rally, meaning that all short-term timeframes continue to those upwards targets, then we're going to need to see it happen like pretty much, now and tomorrow. As we do go over to our momentum oscillators over here, we'll start off with the daily right now, and you can see that daily momentum is actually still to the upside. It will be remaining to the upside as long as above about 45,000 bucks, which is in line with actually the daily 200 simple on spot price action. So I do like that as a good basing point right now. But if we go down to the lower term timeframes, you can see that it's not impossible. It's just a little bit less likely that Bitcoin can keep it up for this long, assuming that it spends any sort of time, realistically realistically finding any sort of sideways price action in that blue box territory, which we're actually pretty much in right now. Anyways, 4-hour momentum oscillators will turn to the downside with any sort of a closure below 46,000 bucks, and that will be confirmed in 2 hours and 42 minutes actually. 3-hour is going to show what? Is going to show 46,200 right here. Bi-hourly is going to show what? 46,250. So we actually see a good confluence right there as well. And hourly is going to actually turn back to the upside above 46,150. So I would feel comfortable in stating then that if Bitcoin can close all of these time frames, basically even just the 4, I would probably do it for me, back above, let's call it 46,250 or so, then I would be looking for the short-term rally to continue to those upward targets first before playing out a pullback. However, if Bitcoin kind of falters a little, and flounders a little bit sideways more, while we do see that, then I would be looking for a pullback, very likely back down to about 44.5, maybe 45,000 bucks, which is really not that far away from current price action. But overall, the setup is there on the higher term timeframes. Make no mistake about it. If we do go to our higher term timeframes over here, remember, weekly Stokes are still coming in from a very, very low level right here, and actually have a chance to get out of the bearish control zone for the first time since June, actually. So a couple of months being spent in there, and that would be of significance. We still have, a long week left to go here, but so far so good. And they're obviously going to be remaining up as long as Bitcoin's above 32,000 bucks and 100. So I think that that's rather likely that they will remain up right there. And we also do see that this is actually playing out a trend line test going all the way back from what was this, September 2014, right, way on over here. So a rather tested one. Although these tests have a lot of the time actually been bull traps in a lot of cases. So there is still risk on the other side, of course. But looking at the weekly right here on the Super Guppy, we do see that it's trending above all major moving averages, and that is more or less good. So I would be looking for short-term pullbacks to be bought, and that means that we should probably mark off some areas to where be looking for short-term higher term time frame lows, or short-term higher term time frames. No, short-term time frame lows is what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ, man, too much coffee this morning. Need to get back on that yerba mate. Anyways, looking at this right here, you can see that Bitcoin's banging its head a little bit on the short-term timeframes. And do we have a little bit of bearish divergence going on the 4-hour? Yes, ever so slightly. This is not like a death sentence right here in any way, shape, or form. I really want to see multiple drives, especially after a pretty monumental rally that we've seen thus far. But if we get, like a third, maybe even fourth drive in this case, which this one's actually not even confirmed as of right now, by the way, it need to close below about 45,600 or so to really be confirmed. I would be looking for a short-term pullback, basically back down to about 44.5. Actually, I think I did say earlier 45,000 bucks to 44.5. Let me adjust that. It's really more like 44 to 44,500 is what I mean to say right here in this pocket. And that would still be a higher low, to be fair. Make no mistake about it. Bitcoin is operating on higher lows on pretty much all time frames, as long as we're above, especially 38,000 bucks. But I'd even say 41,000 bucks is going to be a big area, so to speak, throughout the rest of this week. Meaning that if Bitcoin did come back down around there, that would be, at least in my opinion, or at least in my experience, to be considered first and foremost just a retest of the yellow 20-month exponential average. And typically speaking, I love those ones, as we did get our first open and closure above it to start this week. And more importantly, we also do have a positive slope on the yellow 21 as well. And by the way, from an RSI perspective, we are back above the exponential. This is a rejection of the bearish control zone, and I do look at this as more or less good, with very likely continuation long term. But long-term continuation does not necessarily imply short-term immediate continuation. I do reserve a little bit of reservations here, just because Bitcoin is pretty much within the midst of this area that we've had marked off for a while now. So basically, to kind of summarize my thoughts right here, again, coming in from this region, specifically on CME, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin make a nice stint, a nice leg up short term, maybe one more drive to 49,000 bucks, or somewhere between there and about 48.5 perhaps. But I would be very, 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 very cautious within that region as to looking for, at the very least, taking some goddamn profits, be fucking reasonable in this market. And at the same time, any sort of weakness that would see in that region, especially bearish divergence, if you want to watch that, or Stokes turning down on medium and higher term timeframes, that would probably be good enough for me to be looking for the next sort of daily high to be put in. And then I would be looking for a higher low first and foremost. Obviously, we do have an uptrend for the first time on a daily in a long time, actually, ever since realistically this was early May, in fact, which was confirmed actually just at the end of last week, and right around here. So overall, that is very, 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 very good. Where can our high lows come in around? Like I said, about 41 to 42,000 bucks, kind of where I'm looking towards. Remember, we do have the blue buy signal over here, so I am essentially biased to be looking for the next major low on the daily to, well, be the next macro low, actually. So in comparison to this, which way do you look at it? Technically speaking, the daily low after the blue buy signal, or sorry, the daily low prior to the blue buy signal being printed is actually right here at about 38,000 bucks. It's not necessarily 29,000 bucks or 30,000 bucks right here if you just want to round up. So technically speaking, if this is going to hold true, and I can, and if you're not familiar with this, I can just kind of suggest that you watch the video that I uploaded over the weekend titled something like some clickbait bullshit, like "the low is in," period. There you go. And today's title is equally clickbait bullshit as well. Hey, by the way, if you're new here, understand that we have a little bit of fun, with the titles. Very rarely do they match up. And what I typically do for my titles, and this is said with love, but what I typically do for my titles is I type in crypto on YouTube and then the moon on YouTube, and then I look at their title and then I basically copy it because they have great clickbait. Anyways, yes, that would imply, historically speaking, that we would not expect Bitcoin to actually go back down below and close below this level on a daily closing basis from here on out, if that signature is going to hold true. So that'd be about 38,000 bucks. So where could that next higher low come in around? Like I said, 41 to 42,000 bucks would make a lot of sense. However, it really depends how high Bitcoin gets on its current rally right here, because I don't believe it's done just yet. I do believe that the daily is just continuation for what it's worth right now. But if we do get above 50,000 bucks on this rally, I would extend that area a little bit higher to about 45,000 bucks, essentially in line with where you do see the daily 200 simple on spot price action right here, which Bitcoin's basing off of. We have actually regained it as of yesterday. Today is the first day that it's going to have a chance to both open and close above it. Technically speaking, you typically look for a test into that region, which we're seeing kind of right now. And then what we expect to see by end of day is just closure above and then continuation by no later than Thursday, preferably tomorrow. And the sooner the better, realistically. Anyways, on top of that, we also even have an exponential moving average golden cross in line here as well. And this would be a pretty damn good example of a good one. Now, I want to readdress this because someone in the Discord, Mr. Fadix, had a really good question about this, or a statement actually more so about this, referencing the 4-hour golden cross. But this is the daily right here, and this is obviously more important and more powerful, being that it is about a 6x time frame than a 4-hour. And in this case right here, we need to go within the context of history, right? Where the last golden cross that we got on the daily was May 14th, way back on over here, in a very long form consolidation, about a 3-month long consolidation. Sounds familiar, right? And then what happens after that? Bitcoin just essentially blows its whole load for the next, year, basically, from where is this, about 8,000, 9,000, all the way up to 65,000 bucks over here. Bitcoin did get a very bad bad example of a death cross right here, obviously. And while this actually did get a little bit of continuation to the downside, we did say, hey, your first death cross after having a golden cross for a very long time is usually not going to be the big one that you're typically looking for. It'll usually give you a little bit of edge. You can usually take a bit of a bit of a scalp trade, but as far as a trend trade goes, they usually don't work out that well. And this is a perfect fucking example of that. Anyways, on the other side over here, if we do officially get the golden cross, which is inevitable, especially as long as Bitcoin's above $42,000, this would be essentially confirmation of continuation pretty much to prior all-time highs, in my opinion. So I'll just leave that right there. I don't think that that's happening like right now, today, this exact moment. I feel like I might be drumming up the good old drums of FOMO right now. Please understand this is still likely to take some time. Bitcoin's very likely to pull back. On short and medium term timeframes, I do believe after a little bit of short term continuation to the upside, probably somewhere around 48 to 49,000 bucks, and then we get to see where this one wants to try for a higher low. If Bitcoin starts to close a daily above 50,000 bucks, I would raise the pullback target up. Like I said, anywhere around the 200 simple on the daily would be fair game on this one. So understand where the risk is, understand where the probabilities are, and in this case right here, things are pretty damn good, to be fair. Daily RSI maintaining the bullish control zone for the first time in a very long time. I absolutely love this consolidation right here. Yes, I would be looking for it to probably pop back down and and at the very least test the exponential, but probably test the edge of the bullish control zone right here. And we actually would technically have bearish divergence if Bitcoin puts in a high anywhere around here without making a higher high on RSI, obviously. But overall, I'd be looking for that next higher low to be bought. Again, this is all kind of working in conjunction with each other. And realistically, we haven't seen anything maintained in the bullish control zone like this realistically since this area over here, which was February 2021, obviously. And you can kind of see when Bitcoin typically does get in the bullish control zone for the first time in a while, you see a consolidation similar to this one right here before further continuation and price action, obviously supports that as well. We also do see BBWP expanding with price action. That was the next thing that we wanted to see alongside all these other prior signals. So this is good. So we have volatility, we have structure trend, and then we also have momentum, and well, that is that's typically good enough for me. So anyways, what else do we want to check out right here? Daily Jewel continues with the upside signal. It's very, very aggressive right now. I don't think that the signal has too much more on top of it, but it does very likely have at least one more push, I do believe. So I don't think that the highs are in just yet. I do think that we get one more slight high at the very least. And if things do turn out to be like a lot more bullish than what I first considered, then we will see a closure above 50,000 bucks. I still think that that's a little bit less likely right now. And we don't want to get carried away in this certain segment of the market because Bitcoin's basically just had a 50% move to the upside. Like, it's going to have a pullback at some point, and it'll probably be nasty as well. Anyways, as this currently stands, we do see both the auto fib and the light blue printed on this signal right here, which is good. And also it's above both the oscillators. Now, technically speaking, we typically don't see it maintain too long within the critical zone, historically speaking, but it's actually not there just yet. So I would probably give it, probably till the end of this week. Now, of course, we should also bring up this as well, because why the hell not? It's been working pretty damn well. Although this is not going to be bullish. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be bullish. And that is the moons. The moons told me. We have a bare moon, my friends. We have a bare moon as of, I think 2 days ago on the 8th. Yeah, we're currently in the 10th of August right now over here in Finland. For you who might be in the Western Hemisphere, it's probably still the 9th. But overall, this is actually been pretty damn good, to be fair. So, do you put any weight on this or not? I don't know. But here's what I would say about this is that you will notice that the phase of the market cycle actually does seem to line up pretty damn well with this. As much as I don't like to talk about this kind of stuff, just because it feels weird. But someone brought up a really good point. It's like, Krown, you use fibs, but you have a problem with astrology. It's like, yeah, fair enough. They're both. we also read some tea leaves over here as well. Anyways, more importantly, because I believe that we actually have seen a change in behavior structurally, and also from a market cycle perspective, I do believe that your moon cycles are going to be working a little bit opposite to what we saw back in the last cycle over here, where the downside signals were getting humongous moves, and the upside signals were just getting pathetic bounces. I do believe that we'll see something similar over here as well, where the quote unquote bare moons. I'm not like an astrologist, by the way. I don't really know too much about it. There's a great witch on Twitter who knows all about it, and well, she could probably explain it to you. Anyways, anyways, as far as that goes, I suspect that it'll probably just give you the next higher low, if anything. But again, probably not the best person to get to talk about that. On top of that, we also do see this time fib that we've overlaid on the charts, which I'm actually going to get rid of this right now. By the way, credit to Insilico for that indicator specifically. He's quite prolific on Twitter. that guy tweets like crazy, man. It's insane. I can't keep up with him. Anyways, let's get rid of the momentum offset as well. We don't need that right now. But overall, we do see that this time fib has actually been working really, really well. I still got to give credit to Mr. Paranoid for pointing this one out to myself. And we will have a big date, very likely late August, 21st of August. So keep that one in mind. After that, we do have September 15th. So fair enough on that one as well. Just a couple of things to be aware of. Now, there is one other thing that I want to get into before we get into the comments over here. Let me just get rid of that little notification. And what do we see right now? We do see that CME on a Bollinger Band perspective, it's actually getting rejected from the topside band thus far. This is to be expected, intraday. It only depends how we close at the end of the day. Oh shit, there's one other big thing I want to get to as well. Fucking, I forgot to tell you. I had a nice little interview with Elliot from Elio Trades. Man, it's like now I'm getting his name wrong. God damn it, man. Last night, if you want to check that out, it was very streamlined, very, very fun, and he's just the man. I absolutely love that guy. Anyways, if you want to learn about NFTs, that's the guy to go to. He is running it right now. Anyways, okay, so yes, we did get a closure above the topside Toronto band yesterday for CME. So I do look at this as trend in motion, essentially, is what that kind of suggests. So that is also kind of playing into my short-term theory that Bitcoin very likely tries one more new high in this rally. I mean, we technically already kind of have one right here, but the question is, do we close outside of it once again? If that happens, then I would officially be looking for Bitcoin to at the very least test $49,000. And at that point, I'd really start to open up the possibilities and also the probabilities that Bitcoin could even close above $50,000. And if that happens, that's going to really start to change around my general view on Bitcoin, looking for a pullback in probably the mid, maybe even upper $40,000 territory if that were to happen. Still a long day left to go. Obviously, if we do put in a high right here, that higher low very likely comes in around about 41 to 41,500. But for right now, this is still more or less fine. We see daily MACD continuing on with the upside momentum, and we do see actually this one's getting pretty damn hot over here too. The PMAR is actually getting way far away. Definitely get higher in the more aggressive rallies, but this is actually typically not the best time, to be fair. I do suspect that we will go into a sideways consolidation once again relatively soon after hitting this next short-term move to the upside. Anyways, the next big thing I wanted to talk about is actually very, very simple, and then we'll get on into the comments, and that would be Ethereum right here. I think the Ethereum chart is actually still the easiest chart by far. You have, well, should we go over the weekly first? Should we go over the weekly first? Yeah, we should go over the weekly first, actually. So let's go back on over here. Let's go over here. Okay, beautiful. Actually, did we close the daily as an engulfing? Oh, it's an engulfing on the daily. Jesus Christ, that's definitely not fucking bearish. Jesus Christ. Anyways, looking at the weekly right here. Remember, we've been monitoring this signal over the past 3 weeks now, I do believe, and we did see that there was multiple drives, hidden bullish divergence right at the neutral zone, with Ethereum's RSI getting back above on the weekly, by the way. So a rather powerful time frame back above at the exponential, and now testing into the bullish control zone. Really want to see it get in there, actually close within there by end of week. But overall, this is also supported by a weekly jewel, somewhat bouncy-ish signal, although usually these are not great, but fair enough. Anyways, more importantly, that would have a technical target. Well, our first technical target was about 2,900 to 3,000 bucks. That one was obviously hit coming into the end of last week. The next one, the more aggressive one, would be about 3,300 to 3,400 bucks. And at that point, I do suspect that we'll probably see Bitcoin and Ethereum pull back. And I think that Ethereum's, again, more obvious here. So whenever you do see Ethereum hit this level over here, which I actually have an alert at right now at about 3,400 bucks, I would be looking for any sort of short-term, medium-term weakness on both of these, and being Bitcoin and Ethereum, that is, and then very likely that is going to be the next, somewhat pullback. On top of that, we do see over here on the monthly, from a Bollinger Band perspective, Ethereum's going to have a chance to close above the topside Toronto band by end of month. Now, of course, it's still very, very early in this month. We still have another 3 weeks left of trading to go, 21 days and 19 hours, so actually 22 days, basically. But if we do close above the topside Toronto band on Ethereum, which is 3150 about for reference, I would feel very, very confident and comfortable saying that Ethereum will very likely test its prior all-time high sometime around the start of Q4, so end of September, early October, very likely, and very likely try for new all-time highs by end of year, actually. So fair enough. And what does that align for on Bitcoin? Bitcoin probably does something relatively similar as well. And again, I just think Ethereum's chart is a little bit easier to read right here. So I like to go with whatever's easiest. And in this case, it is easier. Anyways, we go over here to the daily. Are we trending above? No, we are actually not right now, but we do have a natural resistance short term at about, right around about $3,300. So anywhere between about 33 to 34 is kind of where I'm looking for a bit of a short-term, medium-term pullback. And should I come up with an area on the other side as well? Of course, yes. I mean, there needs to be something like that, because otherwise that is not a consistent analysis. Anyways, it would basically be the same thing as yesterday, right? So yesterday we did say continuation of the upside more likely before a bit of a pullback, and now what we can say is we can use yesterday's sort of short-term time frame range as a bit of a bias buster for that. So as long as Bitcoin's above about 43.5. I essentially, look at this as just another higher low area right here. If Bitcoin were to crash down below it, Bitcoin were to go below it, especially on like a 2-hour closing basis, that being about about $43,000, I would be looking for an official test down to about $41,000 even, give or take about $500 from that target. But for right now, again, it does look like Bitcoin goes a little bit more sideways and up before any sort of even a short-term time frame pullback. This would be my condition for negating that. And if you want to go down to the hourly and like really get this short term right here, I don't think that's wise. I actually don't think that's wise, because just too low of a time frame to really make much out of. But if I had to say something, I would say 45,400 on CME specifically. Very, 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 very obvious structure right there, to be fair. And then yes, that would be get that next test down to about 43.5 or so. But for right now, more or less fine. And how we see momentum oscillators right here? Not great on the hourly. Let's see what CME momentum oscillators look like on over here, and then we'll get into the comments. Hourly 46,150. Oh wait, no, we're on the wrong chart. Hourly 46.5 actually. So this one really needs to start moving, but hourly stocks are coming way down right now, which is good. So alongside volatility, so this is to be considered a bit of a healthy consolidation first and foremost. You want to see volatility coming down alongside your momentum also coming down in a healthy consolidation, aka just very likely set another higher low. Bi-hourly, certainly not of the same regard right there. 46.5 is going to be the magical number for this one. Actually the same as the hourly, funnily enough. And what do you know, the 3 hours, same thing as well. 46.5, wait, was that 43.5 or 46.5? Yeah, 46.5 on both the bi-hourly and 3 hour, and 4 hour is going to show 46.4 as well. So 46.4 does seem to come up a lot on CME. I do suspect that this is going to be a lot more of an obvious chart once again, and any sort of a closure above there, on any of these time frames, realistically, we're very likely going to see that next continuation move. So that'd be my conditions for essentially looking for that if you do want to, look for the more immediate move, I suppose. But at the end of the day, we've this area is starting to get a little bit more hot, in my opinion. Anyways, we can go into the comments now. Let me turn on the alerts right there. Holy fucking moly, man! It's a very busy day, as it should be. But it's very interesting too. Actually, you know what we should do? We should look at Google Trends really quickly. Let's see. Are the retailers back in this market once again? So let's go over here. And let's see. Oh, I haven't shown my testnet positions as well, of which I probably should, because there's some really interesting things going on over there. Let's see. Is the world searching Bitcoin once again? Let's see. Let's not just do Finland. Let's go worldwide, and let's go, past 12 months, fine. No, still downtrending actually. So the world seems to still not be that interested. Let's go to the past 5 years. Let's see where we're kind of in the grand scheme of things. Actually very, very interesting indeed. So you can kind of look at it like this, right? We're at about the same levels as about the end of 2020, in fact. So the end of 2020, Bitcoin was where at about $40,000, I believe. Somewhere between there, kind of where we're at right now as well. But you can see that the mania really started after that, when Bitcoin initiated that next parabolic advance from about $40,000 to $60,000. Now, I suspect that a lot of these people are probably out of this market. So that is also another good sign as well, saying that this rally is not necessarily driven by retailers, who quote unquote have soft hands. I fucking hate that term, by the way. I absolutely despise that term. But alongside, looking at open interest metrics as well, it does appear that this is very much a spot driven rally in a lot of ways. So anyways, we'll get into my testnet positions really, really quickly here first, and then we will go into the comments. Anyways, this again, testnet account, it is not real money, but the position's looking pretty fucking good now as the marks come back into the, I think it was the 20, was it the 21st? No, it was a September expiration right there. We've almost doubled this account. I think I started it off at like 10 or 15 Bitcoin. Now it's almost up to 30 Bitcoin, which is not bad, I suppose. Anyways, looking at the positions over here, I'm basically just keeping the same things. I've added a bit onto my short put legs over here just because I look at that as all premium. And in fact, I might just sell the shit out of this right now. It looks like someone's bidding. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm about to hit that bid real fucking hard. So 20 lot right there. I'll take that. No problem, sir. Thank you very much. And goodbye. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, fair enough. Anyways, so now I'm short a 25 lot of the $24,000 call strikes in September 24th expiration. Very easy to cover. You know, as long as Bitcoin's above 33,000 bucks, like I did say, there's no, in my opinion, threat of like major macro downside. 33,000 bucks, very, very easy to cover. Gives you, I don't know what, almost 10,000 bucks delta between the two, between the $24,000 strike before you actually even need to go into profit there, or sorry, go into a loss there. Anyways, and also, finally, the marks of these, I think it was the $200,000 call strike was absolutely fucking weird. Maybe it was the $80,000 call strike, whatever it was. They've come back and now looking pretty damn good. No. There they go. Oh no! Now I just destroyed my $24,000 put strike. Yeah, and there goes some of my P&L. But these are all marks. These are worthless right now. Anyway, still holding the spot longs as well. I will probably I will just be taking profit using covered calls throughout this, and it's been pretty damn. Sir, you okay? Hey Scott, no one cares about shitty ass XELA, sir. All right, let's go pick on XELA. You're fucking garbage piece of shit. How about this, Scott? How about this? Do you like this? Oh, down we go! Piece of garbage going to the fucking gutter. No, it's not, man. It's still gonna go up here. But Scott, god damn it, man. God damn it. I thought we were friends. I thought we were cool. We're not. We're not, man. Apparently, we're not. We're mortal enemies now. Mr. Barney's very angry today. We've shitted on his XELA too much. No, man, I'd still actually have a bullish bias on this one, but Jesus fucking Christ, man, do you really need to pick like one of the most god-awful charts long term, for the love of God? Can we see $7? Not anytime within this lifetime. Not anytime soon, man. $7? I mean, possible, like in like a year or something. Anyways, Jordan Chen says, when Krown... Wait, no, I already read that. Style Series, what's up, man? Bruh, why does the hash ribbon's blue buy indicator keep disappearing on the daily? I don't know. Perhaps you're not using the one that was made from Charles Edwards, the creator himself. I'm actually using a slightly different one over here, but no, it has not disappeared at all from my estimations, and I look at this pretty much all day, every day. In fact, I've been getting a few messages about this, that it does disappear. Make sure you're using the right one. Don't use anything else other than the person who actually created it, because that's the most tried and true. And yeah, I think I'll just kind of leave that there. Anyways, David Davian says, can you look at scale, please? Sure. Scale, huh? Scale is bullshit. Let's see. I guess we go to this one right here, and let's see what we got. Pretty good, actually pretty good. But maybe we look at it on our regular charts, because that's not gonna make too much sense to me. Although it does look pretty good for what we did see right there. Let's do scale. Oh, USDT. That's why it didn't pop up. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, looking like it wants to join a little bit of the party. It's definitely a bit of a laggard here, but very, very, very likely to make a leg up towards about what, just under 35 cents or so. That'd be the next area I'd be looking at, and then above there, I'd probably be looking for a little bit of short-term sideways and down. Perhaps tries for another higher low, and you know, assuming that Bitcoin and Ethereum do continue on, then your more long-term target would be about 40 cents. Definitely a laggard though. I really don't like these sort of charts that haven't joined in the rallies as much as the majors. It just suggests that they're relatively weak, but overall, it very, very likely does try up at least short-term about 35 cents or so. And at that point, you still do actually have lower highs, unfortunately. So that is also why I don't necessarily like these sort of things. But what time frame are you looking at there? No time frame given, so I don't really know where you want me to go with on this one. 4 hours, just an uptrend, very, very good. Again, short term, very likely to get a little bit more to continuation, 35 cents, and then I'd be looking for a bit of sideways. And then it depends whatever Bitcoin and Ethereum do. If they continue on with the rally, the next areas to be looking at is about 40 cents or so. But again, you know, it is an altcoin after all. It's not super terrible though. It's kind of just par for the course, I'd say, as far as altcoins go. Subuguli says, hello sir, bought ORN BTC at what is that? Okay, all right, that is a number that is too difficult to say. Whoopsies. Wait, ORN, there we go, ORN BTC, there we go. Okay, and you're looking at a what time frame? A few days back, already sold half. Any further upside targets on the daily, please? Oh yeah, man, beautiful move right there, beautiful move. So it is rather wise to take profit at these more, just sort of like meme type areas. Although, very, very good one nonetheless. I suspect that you took profit right around there at about 2,000 satoshis. You bought it. Wait, you bought it 15 satoshi? No, you bought right around here. You basically bought the higher low. Couldn't have done better as far as trend trading goes. You couldn't have done better. Fucking beautifully done, my friend. Fucking beautifully done. I do think that taking profit at this region was a very mature decision. If you are going to get some more continuation, I'd be looking at 22.30 or so, just wherever the 200 simple is right here, as you can see. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Does this one have any more upside? Yeah, it probably does. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing tag up towards like 2,500 or so. I don't like that it's a pump and dump, but you technically do have a weekly higher low, and very likely does try higher from here. So actually, I don't think that the 200 symbol is going to be much of anything right there. Very likely does try higher over time. It just depends how long term you are. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing either tag about 25.50, anywhere between there and about 27.50. This is pretty damn good with RSI getting back above the exponential. And even the weekly jewel getting some positive curvature there too, although I would not trust it on something that's this young. But generally speaking, yeah, I'd probably be looking for it to go up. Up and away, sir. There you go. La Major, what's up, man? Holy shit. An OG of the cave, once again, love it, man. Has ribbons buy signal on XBT. It doesn't matter what XBT is doing. It should be actually even tethered, anyways. But you're talking about BitMEX's chart right here. Look, they're all the same. Okay, we're gonna run. I feel like we do this every goddamn day. All right, here's CME. Even this one fucking has it. CME. Here's BitMEX. Here's Coinbase. Here's Bitstamp, here is Finex, and here is the index. Look, go with the fucking index. It's a conglomerated chart of all of the relevant exchanges on TradingView. If you don't want to use that one, then either Finex or Coinbase are going to be the most relevant in my experience. But they should all line up naturally anyways, and I'm not able to reproduce the issues that a lot of other people are complaining about with it. It's not even a lot of people. I've just actually seen a couple of comments regarding that. So I don't even know if that's what you're referencing anyways. Maybe you're just pointing out that hash ribbons has a buy signal on XBT. Fair enough. Again, understand that the hash ribbons buy signal is a terrible timer. Terrible fucking timer of a good entry. But at the end of the day, if things are going to continue on for the macro, I mean, maybe that's not as much of a consideration or as much of a big deal for you if you are more long-term minded. I can't make that decision for you, obviously. Looking at Bitcoin right here on, actually, I'm getting a little bit concerned about that, but still let it go, I suppose. All right, cool. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Miguel says, hello, good sir. What's up, good sir? How you doing, man? Today, I'd like to pick your brain on swing trading. Okay, sure, yeah. I'm not a big swing trader myself, but I will try my best. Any general tips, advice? As you know, I look at mid to long time frames. Okay, so like general tips or advice. So like what you should be doing. Again, understand that I am more or less a range trader, a scalp trader for the most part. I will hold positions, sometimes, just because I took let's say, okay, here's an example. Let's say I took a scalp right here. I see this area as quote unquote support. So I buy it and then I basically say, all right, I'm going to let some go at the middle of the range. I'm going to let some go at the top of the range. And then I hold like a third because, things are looking generally good. We also set in a higher low on the daily, and then I just end up holding a position which turns into quote unquote a swing trade, right? Basically what you're doing in a swing trade is you're trading the trend. So those to me are one and the same. So let's define terms here. Swing trading equals trend trading. If you're trading the trend, what are you looking for? You're looking for, in this case, higher highs and higher lows to the upside, and obviously, vice versa to the downside. So what can kind of help you with getting that? Well, moving averages are going to be an obvious thing. You could also just, understand structure and whatnot, which I think is a lot easier to look at on a line chart. It's very easy to look at this and identify an uptrend, right? When you're looking at it in line format. However, when you do have the old dildos there, then, sometimes it gets a little bit more complicated, I suppose. But overall, you're just looking for that trend continuation. So moving averages are typically going to be good in that case, kind of smooth it out a bit. Basically your 21 is going to kind of tell you when you're in a general uptrend. And if you want to take that one step further, you want to see the 21 trending above the 55, and then usually like the 10 simple is kind of where you put in your higher lows around. And if things get a little bit more crazy, you put them around the 21, depending upon how aggressive you want to be. Again, this is personal sort of stuff right here. I don't know how you want to trade yourself, but overall, you're just looking for trend continuation. So if you are going to be a swing trader, where do you manage risk? Well, in this case right here, if you're trading the daily and let's say you bought the higher low right here, what you're looking to do is you're looking to essentially hold that trade as long as you are, well, printing in higher highs and higher lows. So right now, where's the next higher low? It'd actually be this spike low that we saw from yesterday. That would be a good place to be managing at, not necessarily because it's a confirmed higher low right here. It's actually not. It would work out in a 12-hour. I do expect, actually no, more like a 4-hour in this case. But we do see that it is an engulfing, and whenever you see an engulfing like that, it's suggesting that the market has a lot of conviction on that move. And if it has a lot of conviction on that move, you expect further continuation before any sort of a major pullback. So that is also why I'm looking for a little bit of continuation here, maybe over the next 48 hours or so, to upper 48, 49,000 bucks. And if things do clear above 50,000 bucks, then that's going to start to change the picture a little bit, with looking for the next higher low, probably somewhere in the mid 40s rather than low 40s or upper 30s. Anyways, as it stands right now, when it comes to trend trading, you'll probably notice that a lot of the time, you're not gonna be able to sell the ultimate high because you don't know that it's a fucking high in a downtrend until you get that lower low or lower high, right? So there's a couple of ways to do that. And again, this is personal preference. Maybe you like to wait for the next lower high. That's typically how I do things. If I am gonna trend trade, that's how I knew how to get out way on over here in 2016. And we can still do that over here. I mean, anything below 58,000 bucks is a lower high on the weekly, to be fair. And we do already have a lower low over here. So still definitely possible that the bears do have a big bid here, although I do expect that other fundamentals within the market kind of make me not as biased towards that, as we explained in the long-term analysis video this past Sunday. But what else could you use? I mean, if you want to be a little more aggressive with it, you could probably use RSI Divergence to take a bit of profits on a potential high. Then again, do you add lower? I don't know. Again, this goes back into how aggressive you want to be. If you are going to add lower, where do you do it? Well, maybe you see some hidden bullish divergence on the other side. That is typically, that by definition, going to tell you about the higher lows, because it's essentially making lower lows on RSI with a higher low on price action, and the momentum is still on your side. Perhaps you can combine that with another momentum oscillator like Stokes. Again, a little more short-term minded, so maybe not as relevant towards you. But you can do this a million different ways. As you can see, I'm kind of just throwing things out there for you to maybe grab onto that might be useful towards you, by explaining the way that I would do it if I was doing it, which sometimes I do it. In fact, that position that I longed at about 32,000 bucks a couple weeks ago, or actually I guess 3 weeks ago now, I let go of profits a lot along the way. I think I took profits in like the mid to upper $30,000 territory, again at 45,000, and I still have a small position left of it, but I'm basically just waiting for trend reversal to let go of it, and I'm completely fine with kind of giving up some potential profits in exchange for just being able to participate in this more potentially long-term rally right here. So hopefully that was in some way helpful. I don't know if that's exactly how you wanted me to kind of come at that question from, but yeah, just let me know in the comments. Mohammed Sheikh says, kind sir, hello sir, how's my Ric Flair woo doing on daily, weekly Huobi? That was a weak woo, sir. Sorry about that. Woo US derp. Okay, let's see what we got right here. We'll go to this one right here, and you're looking at a daily, weekly. Okay, so higher term timeframes. This is an example of an altcoin having a generally better result than most altcoins in this market, and also for whatever it's worth, this thing had a pretty fucking phenomenal January as well, which most altcoins didn't really start rallying until March. Anyways, let's see, where's the weekly at right now? Weekly still looking pretty damn good. Assuming that Bitcoin and Ethereum do continue from here, next sort of weekly target would be basically your prior swing high at about 95 cents or so. At that point, I would be looking for a bit of a pullback, but you have to start to realize what the structure is looking like right here. We have a higher low on the weekly. We have, this would just be a bullish, bullish consolidation. I don't necessarily think that it'd be ready to like break out to new all-time highs from that region. I would expect a bit of a short-term pullback and consolidation a bit lower, but overall, this would look really, 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 really good, because what does that typically imply when you do have higher lows in this case, and about the same highs? It implies essentially reaccumulation in the format of an ascending triangle, which is actually one of the better formations in cryptocurrency land, specifically speaking. That is, in other markets, other formations can be a little more dependable, but in cryptocurrency land, I pretty much only like triangles actually, and specifically just ascending and descending varieties, as they do seem to have a pretty damn good probability of working out. Anyways, looking at the daily right here, short term, you are at a bit of short-term resistance, but let's see how the 4 hours kind of operating right now. I suspect that this one's actually going to bust through here. This is looking pretty damn good. This is very strong 4-hour RSI telling the story. 4-hour Joule still upside momentum, and we do see volatility expanding in the same direction. That's trend continuation. Very, 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 very likely. Daily also got the beautiful silver cross right here. Probably spends a little bit more short-term sideways within this region, but assuming that Bitcoin takes a leg up, this one should tag up somewhere just around, just under a buck, and then spend a little more time going sideways, probably set another higher low, and then perhaps, I don't know, maybe around September, October, try for an actual move to the prior all-time high and then to new all-time highs. Looking pretty damn good there. As far as an altcoin goes, actually, this would be an example of a relatively strong one, having a pretty damn good response in comparison to most altcoins, which are not, not enjoying, first off, higher lows on the, on your higher term time frame. So that does kind of speak for itself. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Okay, sweet. All right. King Cosmic says, hi, Spy, please. Oh, there he is, Mr. Spy. All right, 1 hour and daily, I believe it is. I already know, man. I already know. Say no more. And what do we have over here on Spy? Still looking good, man. I have no major issues with this. It's just consolidation at the highs. That is more or less going very likely to lead towards continuation here. Even the hourly still in an uptrend. I believe we said coming into this week, very likely to make new all-time highs this week, as it was last week and as it was the week before. And that has been the correct call throughout all these weeks. I think that, again, not to toot my horn on this one, but again, just understanding trend. I know that this one looks fucking ridiculous, but this is not a toppy formation just yet. We're not even getting bearish divergence on the weekly just yet, although it would be possible if we did put in a high somewhere around here, but this is not the way that a high looks. And if we go over to a daily, again, this one looks to me like it's probably ready relatively soon. BBWP is on the floor, so volatility can only expand, and this is basically a very mature consolidation already. I really like this, man. Short term, could it pull back a little bit more if it wants to. 4,400 even would be my target for that. But looking at the hourly right here, it looks to me like we just put another higher low, hidden bullish divergence on the hourly. I'd be looking for this one to pop up first to 44.25, 44.26 region before doing anything else. And then if you do see an hourly closure above about 44.28 and 3/4, that would be my signal for short-term continuation to new all-time highs. You can make a bit of a measure move on this one because it is a bit of a ascending triangle at a very high level right here. I'm just going to do a bad drawing of one because fuck it, sir. It doesn't deserve it right now. No, it's just it's all the same. And that implied targets up to about 44.45 to 44.50 or so. And then that can lead into obviously higher term time frame continuation, namely daily and weekly in this case. And well, the monthlies ain't looking too bad as well still. And I imagine that Nasdaq is the same thing. And what do you know? It is the same thing. Holy shit! The infrastructure bill, I believe, is going to be voted on today, Tuesday, sometime around probably like around the morning to midday for Americans out there. And I think Nasdaq is once again a more obvious chart. This looks really fucking good here. Another higher low, once again printed, and a bit of a hammer dildo on the daily for the for the daily specifically. Short-term timeframes, can they come back down? Somewhere around 15,000 to 1550. Sure, yeah, but I actually like this even for short-term continuation of the upside here as well. Hourly RSI telling the story in this one, and volatility is just indicative of a nice short-term consolidation within the context of a bit of a short-term uptrend. So I'd gear the probabilities towards the upside versus the downside on this one. Again, any sort of a downside move towards like 1550 very likely does get picked up, and you're very likely to see this infrastructure bill kind of be a bit of a catalyst. This is what the market's kind of been waiting around for. Not necessarily that, I mean, it does matter obviously, but these sort of news pieces gets played up on whenever there was like animosity that the infrastructure bill wasn't going to be signed off on. The market would do something like this over here, and a little bit of a down over here, and a little bit of down over here. But as long as Jay Powell keeps on supporting the market, it's all good, baby. It's all good. Just watch that Fed balance sheet. As long as that Fed balance sheet is continuing to expand, you can expect continuation in stock market as well, man. It's fucking insane. But it is. I know that's a rather simplistic analysis, but it has been pretty damn consistent for a while now, and a strong stock market obviously does more or less bode well for Bitcoin. We wouldn't expect a risk on asset like Bitcoin to continue to rally while stock market has a bit of a downside move. That just hasn't been the relationship that we've seen over the past 12 years actually. In fact, they do typically play with each other on the macro, that is. Anyways, okay, cool. Nicholas Mudalar, what's up, man? Hey Krown, how do you get the advanced stoke on TradingView? It's private, unfortunately. I actually have reached out to the creator himself, asking him if he wants to release that or not, but that's up to him. I can't force him to do that, nor am I should I? You know, he's free to do whatever he wants. I just appreciate him kind of bringing something like that forth because it's pretty damn cool. Anyways, Justin Young says, hey, what's up, Justin? XRP for mid to long term. Need an entry point idea. I'm so lost. Well, maybe that's a good sign to not trade it and not have Krown do your trades for you, because then what happens when Krown's not around? Then you're fucked. And also what happens if Krown's wrong too? Then, well, you have someone to blame, and then you don't have to take responsibility for it. And that's exactly what you want. I'm thinking DCAing when Bitcoin is at 41, 38, and 35. Should it go down to these levels? Again, I would kind of agree with that. It's easier to watch Bitcoin, easier to watch Ethereum, but as far as Ripple goes, I would be looking for continuation on the weekly here. I do suspect that this one will hit our target that we overlaid. I believe it was yesterday. We had a short one to 88 cents. We've pretty much, we've gotten pretty damn close to that. Not necessarily hit it just yet. The next target would be about 95 cents to $1, basically. So this is looking pretty damn good here. Very, very similar setup. Hidden bullish divergence back above the exponential on the weekly RSI. I do actually think that this is very likely to continue to the upside from here. Again, somewhere around about 95 cents, maybe as much as $1, medium term. I don't know what that means to you, but overall, you know, this one's fine right here. Holding above all major moving averages on the monthly as well. Kind of hard to hate, even though I know a lot of people like to hate a Ripple. Looking at the 5-day, even better actually. Would imply a target up to about $1. You know, and of course it will pull back once Bitcoin pulls back as well. But for right now, it is still a little bit of an upside bias here, at least in my opinion. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Okay, all right. PJ Barch says, could you please look at CSCW? Okay, CSCW. All right, Color Star Technology on NASDAQ. Bad, really fucking bad. Holy shit, it's bad. Sir, everything in the goddamn stock market is going to the moon, and you decided to pick a worse chart than goddamn Scott Barney. What the fuck? It's only been going down for the last 12 years. But it's definitely going up now. Buy it! Bad, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing cough up the whole rally over the next like 3-4 months back down to like 50 cents or so. This thing's garbage, whatever the hell that it is. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it does. Doesn't really matter. But there's nothing there's nothing bullish about this chart at all whatsoever, as long as you're below 120, and that's a pretty big move from where we're at right now. It's a 60% move. I mean, it's not impossible to happen, obviously. And there will be ebbs and flows, and I'm sure that there will be, you know, some very enticing bounces, as there typically are. But this is the chart of an altcoin, as far as I'm concerned. The only thing that I could come up with you in like my most hopium beer goggle glasses induced haze would be something like this. Where, you know, it starts to put in some higher lows on the weekly. It would still imply some short-term down or medium-term downside down to like 68 cents, but you'd want to see a low right around there, flip back around, so another higher low. That would actually be 3 higher lows, and then pop back up and trade north of 180. That would look really fucking good for a move all the way up to like $4.50 to $5. But this is pure hopium right here. This thing looks like absolute garbage on a monthly. I mean, on all higher term time frames, it's not just bearish, it's massively bearish. Bi-monthly, terrible. Quarterly, awful. Let's see what the semi-annual looks like. Is that a low? Semi-annual actually looks like it could be a low. Probably your best bet for hopium right there. But again, understand hopium is just that. Actually, looking at Bitcoin semi-annual, that looks pretty good. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. kind of like a weird it just looks like a weird Bitcoin chart. We have a nice backfill on last Jan open, and up and away. Let's actually see how the quarterly looks like now. Not so bad anymore. Still got those rising wicks too, so fair enough. That's a little bit of, I guess that's the Bitcoin magic that we all know and love. Anyways, what else do we have? Chetin Arya. Hopefully I'm saying that name properly. Good morning, sir. Hey, good morning to you as well, man. ENJ on Binance. Any buy range with this Bitcoin pullback? Please consider. Again, you didn't even give like a fucking time frame, man. Look, the reason why I'm so harsh on anyone who kind of asks a question like that is because it's done with love. I have no idea what could be a good pullback for you, because I don't even know what the fuck time frame you're trading. I don't even know what the fuck you're trying to do. I don't know how long you're trying to hold these things. I have no idea. No idea. This one's probably okay right here. Golden cross after a bit of a short-term terrible death cross right there. I'd probably be looking for short-term continuation like 175 and a half, or sorry, 172 and a half, and then potential like long-term towards $2. Not a humongous fan of this chart, or actually let's give it its due diligence. Actually, it's not too bad. We do have a higher low right here. We do have a higher high, so it is an uptrend. Most altcoins are still kind of shrugging that off. Weekly's pretty good. Yeah, weekly's pretty damn good here, actually. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing actually make a run towards $2 over the next month or so. Not bad, actually. Very, very impressive for. Oh, this is ENJ. That's the one that had, I think, like something to do with Samsung or whatever. Anyways, where would like a natural base be? Look, as long as you are holding yesterday's bullish engulfing, which is 140, direction's up right now. And it's also playing off all these major movement efforts right here. So this is just a very nice and obvious area to be managed off of. I would say, this 155, 156 is the area right now. And as long as you're above 140, I mean, that's, upside is way more likely right here. BBWP set to expand alongside momentum oscillators, which are just reaching the bullish control zone once again for the first time in a while. So there's going to be a little bit of sideways here. Might trade back down short term to like 144 or 145 or so. But I don't really have anything bearish to say about this thing as long as, again, it just even holds 140 or the spike low from yesterday, which is about 136 or so. Take that as you will, man. Nicholas Carden says, "Oh, gee, you don't need to use all capitals, man. Don't yell at me. I'm just a human being, man." T Fuel, USDT, and daily, weekly, monthly. All right, T Fuel. Okay, let's see. All right. What the fuck is this? Not a big fan of this. Not a big fan of this one. It's certainly not joining the upside moves. It's not a strong chart. Not fucking good. It's really gonna depend on a strong broad market in order to bring this thing up, because it is barely hanging in there. It looks like. Let's see. What are you even asking about? You're asking about weekly and monthly. Okay. Well, weekly. I don't know, man. A healthy amount of I don't know is the right answer for this one. If you are playing this one to the upside, you got a nice and obvious base scenario. Actually, literally at yesterday's low, 28.5 cents. I don't like the chart specifically, but the second that it goes below 28.5 cents, I'd be looking for this one to retest its prior low over here at about 23.5 cents. This would not be an example of a relatively strong coin, however. So take that as you will. And we actually do have a little bit of hidden bearish divergence, but that's probably already played out. I'd give it a chance to put in a low right here and just use this as a bit of a risk management point. But that's me. Again, I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to do with this one. Sounds like you're more long term, but there's a decent amount of history on the weekly. I don't really have an opinion on this one on the weekly and monthly. If anything, I would say it's just sideways and not that interesting. Sushi Yum Yum says Triple D 4-hour daily. This is a 3D printing company. Yes, it is. I'm aware of this one. Okay, daily getting an after hours pump. Should spikes like this be ignored and continue based on the chart, or take these massive moves as a sell? Typically they are a sell if it does happen after hours, based off of like some sort of news event. A lot of the time you can typically fit some nice easy short-term scalps on those, but I don't know the story on this one. So did they have earnings or something? If so, it depends where it is. So like, let's say in after hours it hit one of the higher term time frame levels. So in this case, a higher term time frame level would be like the last major weekly high at about $49, or if it like got up to like $70, those would be easy scalp areas, at least in my experience. But I don't know the story on this. I don't know what's driving it. It could be that, I don't know, the President Biden said that everyone's mandated not just to wear masks, but also to have 3D printers in their houses, as to which point I probably wouldn't be, looking to sell into that. So I don't know what the story is. But typically speaking, yes, those do get at the very least a bit of a short-term downside move around the gap fill from prior day closure, and those are usually tradable. But it depends. It's a bit of a nuanced situation right there. So yeah. And yeah, did you say where did it? Yeah, you didn't say where it pumped up into, and I'm not seeing it on the charts over here. So I don't know. I don't know the full story on this one. So I should probably refrain from saying anything else because it might be misleading. J3F says Sushi USD 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily, please. Sure, ma'am. Let's see. Sushi, derp, and we'll go to Binance for this one. Looking pretty damn good here on the weekly, actually. Did you ask for that? No, you asked about daily and lower. Okay, daily. We see a lot of like a very similar chart amongst many things right now. And the similar area for like Bitcoin below yesterday's spike low, which I believe was like 43.5, would be this thing below about $9 or so. As long as you're above there, man, this thing very likely trades up towards about $12 or so, you know, over the next couple of weeks here. Looks pretty damn good actually. Weekly, which I know you didn't ask for, would actually imply targets higher towards $14 perhaps. Again, you know, alongside Bitcoin continuation. But if you're asking about the 4 hour, you got a lovely upturn right here. As long as you're above about 9.25, all good. And this one is actually showing short-term momentum to the upside. Hidden bullish evidence on the 4 hour RSI, 4 hour Jewel still continuing here as well, even though it is going to start to run into a bit of issues. But overall, I would be looking for short-term continuation, do about 10.75, and then open up the roads, you know, maybe for the next couple of weeks up to that next level. I think it was. What did I say on the weekly over here? I know you didn't ask about it, but I do think that it might be relevant. You might be interested in it. 13 and a half. Let's call it. Looking pretty damn good here on the weekly setup, actually, at least for right now. But again, needs, you know, we need to see what Bitcoin does as well. If Bitcoin shows any weakness, probably not great. Okay, cool. Marcin Pazanowski says, "Hi, how are you? Can you make interview with the trade vets on YouTube? I'm not familiar with them, and I don't know." Would you like it? I don't know them, so I don't know if I could say in good faith yes or no. Like sometimes, you know, people bring up like these. I've gotten caught with my pants down in some interviews before, where it's like the person turns out to be not who he presented himself to be. We'll put it that way. And so I've learned my lesson with that. And I like to do my my what's it called, my research into potential guests now. But yeah, anyways, yeah, okay, cool. John says, "Hi, hey Krown, what's up, man? Can you kindly share your views on Elrond, EGLD?" Okay, daily, weekly on Binance, EGLD. Okay, let's try this one over here on Binance, he said. And oh, actually decent, actually very, very good as far as an altcoin goes. This would be an example of a strong altcoin, actually. You even have a weekly higher low right here too. That's good, very, very impressive for an altcoin. If I'm looking at the weekly, 155 or anywhere between about 155 and 150 is fair game at medium term. Let's see, what were you? Yeah, you were asking about it weekly. Let's go down to the daily and address that as well. Very fucking good here. Again, yesterday's spike low, an obvious risk management point. I really don't have anything medium or higher term time frame bearish say, as long as you maintain above that. Golden cross right here above all major movement averages. They are chasing right now too. This is good. This is very good. Very likely 150 first before anything else, and then a little bit of short-term sideways and down, and look for higher lows anywhere above about 125 at that point, and then perhaps another continuation move if we do see Bitcoin alongside of it as well. Oh, Mr. Nimbo, I gotta tell you, man, Mr. Nimbo and Caretaker, Elsa and I were having like a good laugh last night because Elsa was telling me how you handle the comments sometimes, and I don't know why, man, but just got like one of those fucking laugh attacks. Just how you like send people on a nice little vacation. It's fucking great, man. I fucking love it, man. I fucking love it. All right, sir, may the dildo with bringeth the most considerable girth and reach, and a truly satisfying grinneth to thy face and lips, my lord. P.S. Why the fuck am I eating hummus and crackers? I don't know. Why are you eating that? I gotta also tell you, man, that salt that you sent me, fucking great, man. Although Elsa hates the smell, but you know what? She doesn't like anything that smells good anyways, like beef liver, which I love. Anyways. Oh my god, you're so gross. Yeah, okay. Well, you also have sex with me, so that's your problem. J3F says, storage USD 1 hour 4 hour daily. Okay, let's check it out. I think we looked at this one yesterday. STORJ. Would you like to get milked? Or... Hey, there's no more laughing. There's been too many complaints of the laughing. Stop it. Are you trying to get milked? Cut it out. I fucking every once in a while someone will comment something like that. It's just like, okay. I hope your day goes better. I hope whatever's troubling you, I hope that it goes better, sir. I sincerely believe that. Anyways, storage. Okay, what time frames are we looking at here? 1 hour, 4 hour daily. Yes. Okay, so let's go down to the 4 hour first. That one's actually a little bit less obvious on a daily. 4 hour, pretty damn obvious here. Nice higher low structure as long as you're above about 107 and a half. I would be looking for this one to continue on with the short-term uptrend. Yes, you do have the 200 simple right above you, but here's also another insight that I think is actually rather important, because a lot of the time people will be like, oh shit, we're right at the 200 simple, you gotta sell it. Look, the first test, sometimes even the second test, pretty damn good, at least for a scalp. But let me give you an example with Bitcoin, and then we'll go back to this thing. A lot of people were talking about this back on over here, and where was this? This was, no, it wasn't right there. It was right Well, it was right here, actually. It was right here. We did see a nice consolidation right at the 200 simple. When you see something like that, when price action kind of hangs around a major moving average for a while, it's extremely likely to break in that direction. That's actually a very good signature. And you kind of see the same thing on storage, even though it's not super obvious here. But let's just go back to it really quickly. That's why I had to go down to the lower term time frames, kind of see what it's doing short term, just to kind of verify. But basically, again, you know, we see the same chart pretty much all the way around in varying degrees of relative strength and relative weakness. And yesterday's spike low is an obvious risk management point. Guess where it is? Right on the 200 right on the 200 exponential average. As long as you're above that, generally good. And I would be looking for short term, medium term to test back up towards 122, a break above there, and I'd be looking for extension all the way to 130, and then a bit of a consolidation before potential continuation. But another chart that actually does have a higher low and a higher high. So want to see what Bitcoin does, obviously, but this one, you know, looking like it very likely does follow through after a little bit of short-term sideways and up. I want to see that volatility start to expand, however, and right now it's rather lackluster. All right, let's see what else we got. Sick Puppy says, "Link me, sir." Sir, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Oh, it's holiday time. We got to do the holiday. Celebrate. Who went on a holiday? All right. What is this? Okay, Link. Yeah. Link. Okay, getting the silver cross right here, consolidating above all major movement except for the 200. A little bit of a laggard right here, unfortunately, but same setup. Again, same setup. As long as you're above yesterday's spike low, short term, medium term, I would be looking for a sideways and upside grind all the way up to about wherever the 200 simple is, which is also structural resistance right around about 28 bucks. Let's call it. Would be looking for a short term pullback from there with potential continuation on a break of that to about 30. What is this? 33.5 to 34 bucks. Again, probably going to depend on whatever Bitcoin does, I imagine, but this one, you know, it's starting to regain its prior glories, but it's still not quite there. It's still not quite there, but I would give it the benefit of the doubt here, to be fair. And again, yesterday's spike low, it would be that risk management if I were trading something like this. It does look okay. I mean, you're seeing volatility kind of contract while you go into a sideways consolidation after a nice rally. Probably going to be a healthy consolidation right there. All right, cool. Let's see. Thinking Outside the Grid says, can you, by the way, first off, I haven't seen you before, so welcome and good to meet you, sir. Can you explain how you DCA into a trade? I don't. Oh, you mean when I'm talking about like going in thirds? Okay. I just hate the term DCA. If it turns against you, are you adding to your... No, fucking no. Goddamn no. For the love of God, no. Never, ever, 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 ever average into a losing position, ever, fucking ever, for the goddamn love of God, ever, unless you like going to shitcoin jail. No, these are pre-planned in advance. Always. Look, this is incredibly fucking important to understand. When you're setting up a trade plan, which I have a specific video on this channel that will give you a template for that. If you don't know where to start, obviously there's, you should probably add a little bit more to it, but it'll give you a good base guide. And, if you at least do that, you should be able to work your way through. It's called the Trade Checklist. It's here on YouTube. It's 100% free. Anyways, you need to have these things done out in advance. So it is always decided in advance whenever I'm going to enter or exit in position, how I'm going to do it, in what way am I going to do it, what percentages I'm going to do it, and all of that good stuff at exactly what price point as well. Or exactly what conditions would kind of, negate or also confirm, that I should hold it or let it go. If it turns against you, are you adding to your position? Never, fucking never. How about that? Fucking never. Or setting a stop loss and getting stopped out. Well, you obviously also have to have a risk management. So how do I DCA into a trade? It's decided in advance. I typically do things in thirds. So I'll enter in 1/3, 2/3, and then 3/3 of the full position. Again, decided in advance. A lot of the time I am, of course, doing range trading. So to kind of explain it with an example here, if I throw on my drawing tools, looking at this area right here, I have a nice blue box, right? A nice blue box, very, very technical term, obviously. Anyways, no, my point is that and I actually did do this, if I were to scalp into this region, I'm going to set 1/3 of my entry into the top side of it, 1/3 into the middle, and 1/3 into the bottom entry, into the bottom side of it, and then I'll have my take profits already aligned along the way. In this case, I actually took profit right here, the prior little short-term 4-hour swing high, then about 40, what was this? I didn't take profit at 42, I actually took it at like 41, about 41,000 bucks right here, and then I actually held the rest third. So these things are most importantly decided in advance, and the reason why I'm so harsh on the DCA into like a bad trade, like basically add to a losing trade, is because that is one of the ways that I went broke way back in the day. So I mean, it seems like it's so long ago now. And so it's very, very vivid in my mind. So I've kind of had it ingrained in myself that when you average into a losing position, you typically lose more. People do not understand. People, for whatever reason, have like the wrong understanding of this, and this was me too. This is me. Like I still kind of fight against this sometimes, but you want to reward your winners. You reward your winners by DCAing into your winners if you are going to trade long term and hold them. You don't fucking average into your losers, for the love of God. This is only something that gets perpetuated in cryptocurrency land because numbers go up, typically speaking, but that's not always the truth. And you can look at some 2017 shitcoins for verification of that fact. It's a very forgiving market in a lot of ways if you do just have the old diamond hands and hold, but you got to be thinking in terms of opportunity cost. So the way that I think is that if I do end up into one of those shit positions, it's losing money on multiple fronts because there's always the opportunity cost of being in something that actually could be going in your direction. So that is why that Wolf 359 Survivor says, Krown, could you please do an interview with President Trump? I don't think he's president anymore, actually. But if he's down to do it, I'd love to have him on. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but look, love him or hate him. Milkers. Love him or hate him. Trump is definitely the funniest president we've ever had. Definitely the funniest. But yeah, man. So hopefully I said that with love. Again, I'm not trying to talk shit to you. It's just that as an idea, I'm very much averse to because it's the way that I went broke and in the way that I've seen actually a lot of people go broke too. Typically, rewarding losing trades. That is a strong rule in my opinion that I just cannot be violated. Matthew Stanislaus says, you mentioned about a month ago that Cardano is being reaccumulated if it stayed above 3,400 sats. Is it distribution now? God bless Elsa's nanas. All right, let's check it out. So you're talking about you mentioned sats. So you're talking about the Bitcoin pairing. So this is not the same as the US dollar pairing, which is you can probably figure out my thoughts on that one regarding what Bitcoin's doing here. Okay, so 3,400 was the magical number to be held. Let's see. Let's go to a weekly. What was I basing this off of? Okay, okay. So I was basing this off of the high or low structure on the weekly. Yeah, we don't have that anymore. Now there will be bounces here, obviously, right? In fact, you might even see a bounce from our current level, but well, it's kind of losing its luster right there on the monthly. It ain't too good. Is it in distribution right now? It's actually very likely to bounce back up from where it currently is right here. Where is 34? Or do you mean 4,400? 4,400 would actually make no. 4,400 would actually make a little more sense because it was riding this ascending triangle right here. That was lost. So is it going into distribution right now? Well, distribution would not necessarily imply the ops, or it's not like it's either accumulation or distribution. No, this was an accumulation phase that failed. Distribution would imply that we have some sort of distributive pattern going on, which essentially marks what? Which essentially marks lower highs and typically like the same lows. So that is actually why I do like these sort of descending triangle variety of formations for this. We actually don't have that right here right now. So I would not say that this is distribution. I just look at this as like a loss of structure and comes back down to the next major level. And technically speaking, if we do go into, the monthly right here, is this probably going to bounce from this level once again? Probably yes. So I don't, I wouldn't say that's in distribution, but if you see something like this, let's just get rid of everything right here. If you see something like this, let me just draw something in. We'll do like a bad drawing like this, and we'll do a bad drawing like this. Whoops. Well, whatever. That works right now. If you see something like this, right? If you see something like this, where bounces up, puts in lower highs, that's going to be distribution, and then you look further down. But that's not what we have right now. I'd give this area a chance right here. It's if it is, it's in the very, 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 very immature phase of that, and it's probably wouldn't happen like right now or anytime soon. Or probably look a little bit more. Hey, stop that. Hold on, let me get back right on over here. Probably look a little bit more like this to be fair. So it still imply a few more tests off this trend line, a few more failures on low, on a lower high structure. If that happens, then yeah. But for right now, no. I give it the benefit of the doubt just because of the prior trend. And technically speaking, this is your major breakdown from May 2018 as well. So I'd be looking for a bounce here yet again. I don't think if it is going to break down, I don't think it happens like right now. It's going to take some time. It's already pretty damn beat up, to be fair. See what the quarterly looks like, just out of curiosity. Yeah, the quarterly ain't too bearish. I wouldn't call this bearish, so I don't think that that's what's happening. No, just kind of lost structure and then goes down to the next level, and then you get a chance right there. And I believe that's what's happening right now. I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. Probably within the next 6 months, I'd actually be looking for a nice move there. It doesn't look bad, to put it bluntly, on the higher term timeframes. And that's also kind of how you can get a bit of a bias on that too. So it depends what time frame you go on there, but I suspect that you're more interested in the higher term timeframes. Okay, Dubnet, welcome to the cave, sir. Welcome to the cave indeed. Fuck yeah, man. Another cave dweller, my friend. Chris Phillips says, sorry, butchered your last name there. Looking to continue my swing trade on AMC, in at 32 and 15 cents, looking at a 4-hour and daily. Okay, cool. Another one of the meme stocks. But correct me if I'm wrong. But I've heard that AMC is actually planning on accepting Bitcoin by end of year, is what I read recently. Anyways, okay, so you got in at what? You got in for a swing trade at 32.15. All right, so what are you essentially betting on right here? You're essentially betting on that the 21 will hold. I do not like this trade. This is not the picture of health and fitness right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing dump out a little bit towards like 25, maybe even $24. Sorry, 24 and a half to $25 or something like that, before the next like general bounce. Monthly starting to lose structure here, actually breaking down a little bit. Quarterly ain't too bad. Probably should bounce off the mid 20s, but let's see. I think you said 4-hour. Yeah, you said 4-hour and daily. Okay. All right, so here's essentially what you're looking at right here, right? This would actually be a good example of what we just spoke about earlier with distribution. All right, so first off, actually even somewhat of similar structure to that Cardano chart, but something like this, right? Be looking at something like this, where it bounces up again. This one actually getting rejected short term, so probably does come back down and test even a little bit below your entry, perhaps short term. But I would be looking for another bounce up, a little bit later this month, probably back up towards like $36, whether you're bullish or bearish. And then if that one fails and puts another lower high, this would be your descending triangle. That would be your distributed pattern. Boom, 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 boom. And then you get to go all the way back down for your last gap fill at about 16 and a quarter or so, where a lot of these meme stocks will end up long term, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon your disposition. But I don't know if you're long or short on this one. But that's what I'd be looking at right there. If that does happen, the only way that I look at this as like a confirmed low, and then this one's a little bit diabolical here because it's not so obvious on a daily. It's very obvious on a weekly, however, would be the 26th of July high. So that's $40.85. As long as you're below there, I mean, I just look at this as a lower high for what it's worth. Looking at this right here, I'm not a humongous fan of it. It's not super bad just yet, and it's very likely to bounce once again. But that next bounce needs to get back above basically $40. If it fails to get back above $40, I don't think that swing trade's going to be all that profitable. So take that as you will, but fair enough. This one is a bit of a meme stock, so do understand that it does weird things, obviously. So sometimes technical analysis goes out the window. In fact, a lot of the time it does, especially when you have things that can be kind of like fundamentally driven, like this one, and also just like crazily driven. But this also reminds me of GameStop, right? Let's see where GameStop's at right now. Yeah, and this is essentially what will very likely happen to AMC over the long period of time. It's entered into the dead heartbeat already. It's going to take time, man. This one's going to still take about a year to a year and a half, and it very likely will come down below $50. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down below $20 in the next couple of years, but below somewhere around $50 in the next year to a year and a half. Looking terrible right here, but again, it does something that's even worse. It does something that's even worse than going down. It goes sideways and becomes irrelevant, and people get bored. And what do they do when they get bored? Especially when they were looking for instant riches off of my Robinhood account. Well, they capitulate. So yeah, and games can be played on these ones. So not to use a bad pun, but again, I really like to stay away from those just because weird things do happen. So as a trader, while I do believe that this will go down over time, you don't know if there's going to be another like spike back up to like 240. Same thing on AMC. You might see a spike up like somewhere around $40, maybe even $50. AMC does look better, all things considered, than GME, though. I will say it does look better. It has a better chance to hold it up there. But yeah, hopefully that was in some way helpful. Maybe I just went on my own little tirade there, in which case I apologize, sir. Green third eye. Nice. What's that in reference to, sir? Bitcoin Cash stock, BCHG. Okay, so this is a Bitcoin Cash stock. Okay, that's interesting. Like Bcash? Oh, it is. Oh, you're talking. So you're talking. I don't really consider things that are OTC stocks, but fair enough. Wow. This might look even worse than Bcash's chart on spot. Terrible. really fucking bad here, man. This one doesn't get to join in any rallies, apparently. That is awful, man. You're going to tell me that Bcash is not working out? 4 hour and daily. Let's look at the 4 hour. Short term, could very easily have another pop back up to 650 if things really get going here. Would look for extension to 930. But long term, man, this is a chart that only a mother could love. This is one of the worst charts I've seen today, actually. This is worse than a Scott Barney chart, actually. All rejections, or sorry, all rallies to $10 are selling, in my opinion. This is really bad right here, whatever the fuck it is. I guess it's like a GBDC equivalent of Bcash. It very likely does get a short-term bounce here, though. It very likely does. I mean, 620 to 6.25 is certainly not out of the question for a 4 hour. Anywhere below yesterday's low, essentially, though, would be confirmation of continuation to very likely new lows. Monthly is abysmal. All higher term timeframes bearish. Very bad, but I would expect a bounce here first if I did have to call it. I do think that you'll bounce up anywhere around $8 is fair game, but I would be cognizant of the lower highs, and as long as you're below about $9.50 on a weekly, nothing bullish about this thing long term. Best it can do is sideways and maybe put in a base here like over the course of a long period of time. I'm curious what Bcash looks like, though. BCH USD, let's see what this one looks like. Definitely not as bad. I mean, it would not really make sense to me to buy something like that when this one actually looks like it's poised for a bit of a bit of an upside rally here. So that OTC piece of shit very likely does rally. Short term, what was it, like 6.25 or so? And then if you do start to clear above that, especially on a 4 hour closure, I would extend that actually to $8. So a decent rally, no doubt. But overall, this chart right here actually looking significantly better, funnily enough, even though I wouldn't necessarily say, well, hold on, we don't have the full history on this, unfortunately. We need back to 2017. I'm very interested to see this now. I think actually Coinbase should have it. Yeah, it does. Oh, wait, okay, yeah, this is what I was expecting to see. Again, macro lower highs. There's nothing good about that when the rest of the market was making new all-time highs, throughout the first quarter of this year, 2021, in comparison to its 2017 highs right here. That's a really bad signal long term. But is it gonna join the rally party a little bit short term? Yeah, it looks like it does look like it. Wouldn't be surprised if it even extend those gains to like mid 700 or so. But again, needs a strong broad market. This one will very unlikely move on its own, barring any sort of like massive announcement, which I don't want to really perpetuate the hopium for because I think it's rather unlikely. But hey, teach their own, my friend, teach their own. Brian Price says, can you check ELSMLK? Whoa, man, these tickers are getting too long now. 6 letters? Okay. This is not on TradingView, so it's either extremely new. Let me just double check that I got the name right. Yeah, I did get the name correct, but it's not on TradingView. So unfortunately, I cannot look at it, my friend. I don't know what to tell you in that case. Because if I go on like CoinDerpo or Coin whatever the fuck, Coin Market Derp, it's just an unhelpful chart for myself. So I can't really give you a good faith opinion on that. And I suspect that if it's not on TradingView, it's probably because it's either too new or it's too much of a scam token. I mean, there's like some literal fucking garbage gutter shits on TradingView. So it's probably just because it's too new. And if that's the case, a weekly is unlikely to do much of anything because it's just you don't have history for it. So again, apologies, but unfortunately, TradingView does not have it. Gohan's mom, what's up, man? Hey, Krown, can you take a look at Roblox, please? 1 hour daily. Sure, man. Roblox. Here we go. Roblox Corporation. And what do we have here? Very good. Hey, very good. Short term. No, we did kind of sell off that last daily level, $87. That's to be expected. That's completely fine, though. I do like this chart. If it wants to, I don't know if it'll pull back a little bit more. It might pull back down to like 84, any between there and about 83.5. But that I don't really care about. This one very likely does continue up towards $90 or so. This is pretty good. Pretty good. Any sort of a weekly closure above $87, and I'd actually target 90 first, and then very likely 100 after that. This one would be pretty damn good. But yeah, daily telling the story in this one. Also dual buy signal right here, pretty damn good. So I will respect the upside short term, somewhere between about 88.25 to $90 even, actually. Then look for a little bit of sideways, another higher low, and then very likely continuation. That's a decent chart right there. Okay, cool. Marcin is back. Last question for me. All good, man. WXT USD 1 hour, 4 hour. Okay, WireX. What is this? Okay, WireX. I guess we'll just go to this thing. Hey, pretty good move right there. Jesus Christ, man. They must have had some sort of a breakthrough announcement, right? Let's see. 1 hour, 4 hour, please. Okay, so you're not even looking at the daily. Fair enough. Looking at the 4 hour, a little bit of short-term consolidation. Would like to see this one come down a little bit lower, somewhere around about 11 cents or so, and put in a higher low, confirm a higher low there. Yeah, about 11 to 11.5 cent or so. And then does it try higher over time? Perhaps yes. I'm not a humongous fan of this chart just because it kind of pumped out of nowhere, and that's kind of the sign of a typical scam token. But fair enough. Maybe you're just looking for a trade here, and fair enough. I mean, it is still working on a downtrend on a weekly, which is not great. But short term, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of down. Give it a chance to put in a higher low at about 11.5 cent, and then I'd be looking for another retest of the highs. If you can take out its current highs, just with any tick above, I'd be looking for a move towards what is this? 2.9 cents, maybe even 3 cents, and maybe this thing even turns out to be legitimate after that. But look, very rarely do you see daily RSI this high. I'm not going to say that it can't go higher, but the problem is that when you do start to make new highs on price action alongside lower highs on RSI, which is going to be very difficult to make new highs on RSI when it's this high, that's when you're going to start to get bearish divergence in this case. You already see BBWP is on the fucking ceiling, so this thing is at extremes right now. I suspect that it probably has one more drive to the upside if I had to guess, and then starts to play out those divergences and comes back down to normality, but take that as you will. Anyways, DK3210 says, good morning, Krown. Good morning, sir. Good morning, known. Hey, I am known. Good to meet you, sir. Mind taking a look at Darrow USD on KuCoin. Okay. Darrow US derp. All right. You said 4 hour and weekly. Okay. Very interesting time frames there. My only long-term hold. Love. Hey, man, appreciate that. From 2018. Holy shit, man. This is like your first time ever talking. What the hell? Well, good to meet you, man. Officially, I suppose. 4 hour and weekly. Okay. Daily's good. I guess you didn't ask about that one, but fine. Short term, 4 hour, a little bit of sideways. Sideways and up is the name of the game right here. Can it come back down to about 12.50 first? Probably yes, but I like the daily. It is in a constructive uptrend long term. Very, very good on the weekly. Very fucking good. I would be looking for new all-time highs this week. Actually, we can make a bit of some targeted regions above. I don't think that this is the best way to do things, but it's fine. For now, $15 should be a short-term resistance, and it should very likely give a bit of a pullback from there down around $13. But that's usually not a topping area. Long term, more likely to make its leg up to like 45 or 50, which kind of sounds crazy to say. There will be stops along the way, obviously, but if you're asking about a weekly, this is, on a weekly time frame, so probably, a couple months away. But overall, one of the better charts we've seen today, certainly from an altcoin perspective. Nothing bearish about this one as long as you're above the last daily low, which is 1260. And if that one does fail, I'd be looking for a daily higher low somewhere around about 1130 or so. Pretty damn good. Very, very good. One of the best altcoin charts we've seen today, actually. Daniel Garcia says, I know it's a bad chart. Oh boy. But thoughts on recent increase in volume on VRME. Okay, so volume, I hate how volume becomes like a meme because volume is important. Well, let's just look at it. Okay, so recent increase in volume. So you're talking about this right here on February 2021. To me, this is, once again, needs to be considered within the context of the current structure. What's the current structure? Well, you can see very easily, we have our lows being put in right there. We have our highs being put in right here. That spike up in volume is on a rejective high on that same downtrend. So what are we looking at right here? We're very likely looking at a same triangle. What does that imply? It implies redistribution in this case, because this one's been in distribution for a very long time, as you can see. And that would imply that we probably do come back down to not just 225 or so, but once it actually does break, I'd be looking for this one to, not going to go negative, obviously, but goes down into shitcoin gutter, I guess. Now, there is an obvious way to negate what I just said on the other side. A very obvious way. This would be probably one of the easiest trades that you might have. Monthly RSI looks all kinds of weird. It actually never breaks into the bearish controls. That's very strange. Very strange. Maybe it is sitting in a base here. The monthly RSI is actually good. Here would be my confirmation of it, quote unquote, being good, would be taking out the high of that rejection on February. Anywhere above there, just needs to take above there. Shit, even just getting back around like 575 would be good enough. This thing will very likely go on a tear towards its prior highs of this long-term downtrend, which would be, a pretty nice move, all things considered. I mean, 12 to $15. I mean, that's quite the move right there. And to be fair, I mean, this one's had plenty of chance to break down. It's not doing it right now. Technically speaking, though, I would be waiting for that, to be fair, just because this is like This, I don't know, man. It just doesn't look like something you'd really typically want to fuck around with. But momentum oscillators are actually bullish on this one, so that is why I'm holding back from really digging the nail into this one, because momentum oscillators actually are bullish here, and that would be a pretty damn impressive move actually. So fair enough. Yeah, probably actually does go for the upside. But just looking at like a volume spike like this out of nowhere, we'll also think about it. Does this one even trade that much? Yeah, it actually does trade okay. I mean, 10 million contracts done, or 10 million shares done in that month. Not like completely irrelevant. So, this one a bit nuanced here. Actually do think that it probably does choose the upside route on this one. Fair enough. Anyways, Matthew Stanislaw says, I DCA'd Cardano in 2018 before learning how to trade. Your videos have been very helpful. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Especially those on a trader's mindset and risk management. Yeah, and those videos also help me too, man. Like having to reiterate these sort of ideas and whatnot allows me to come to a deeper understanding of it. I was trading for a long time before making these videos, but I noticed that my trading skill increased ever since I started to explain these things on the YouTube. So if you ever have topics that you want to see covered, definitely let me know, because it also helps me as well, and then that's also just the beauty of having a community, coming together for something better. Amita Ram, welcome to the cave, sir. We have a dweller. Ha, love it. Valentin Jijen says, can you check out docs on the 4-hour and daily? Okay. Yes. This thing right here, I'm guessing. I'm gonna guess it's this thing right here. Okay. Really hasn't been around for too long, so I don't know how much we're going to get off this. Daily is down, obviously. 4-hour, as you asked for, is downtrending right here too. I really don't like making too much of analysis on these sorts of things, to be fair, just because it hasn't really been around for too long. I would be looking at a move to $50, however, short-term, medium-term region, and very likely a bounce there. Other than that, I don't have anything to say about this. The daily's pretty shitty, but I don't really have anything to say about this. Weekly shitty as well. I mean, down is the direction here, but how far down this one go, I have no idea. We really don't have too much history here to be going off of. Assuming that this is what you wanted to look at, which I'm not so sure. The hourly is probably gonna be more useful in this case. We just started printing 200 simples and 200 exponential average, but yeah, hidden bearish divergence right here on hourly RSI very likely does retest the current lows right here at about 52 first, and then I probably would be looking for this one to fall lower, maybe like later this month, early September, down to about just below $49 or so. Maybe tries for another bounce there. Other than that, I don't know. Rocky G says, fam, hey, what's up? Hello, fam. How you doing, fam? Looking at 10, 21, 30 MA on weekly, the slope of the 30 has started to flatline. Looking to change of macro momentum, targeting Stoke 40, 60 RSI. Okay, let's just go see. I want to repeat what you've actually done here. Okay, so you're looking at 10, 30, and I'm guessing 21, because that is one of the famous ones long term. Okay, so the 30 simple, hold on. Don't believe that we're on the same page here. 10, 21, 30 MA on the weekly. I'm looking at a 30 simple right here. Yes, the slope of the 30 has started to flatline. It's no, I would say it's not actually. Let's take away price action here for a second. No, it's still got a positive curvature right there. In fact, they all do. Now we just want to see the lower periods lead above the higher periods. Right now we actually have that all the way opposite, but interesting. I wonder what chart you found that on, because I'm not able to reproduce what you just said, unfortunately. Let me just throw back on my my regulars there. There we go. There we go. Let's actually put the price back on too. That would be a good idea. There we go. Well, fair enough. But overall, I do kind of agree with you right there. I mean, weekly RSI very likely to, at the very least, test the bullish control zone. First test typically does get pushed back. And same thing for Stoke right there too, which is right at the edge of the bearish control zone, right? A lot of the time you'll just see a little bit of short-term sideways just based off that, sometimes reversals, but at least sideways. So a good place to very likely be taking a bit of profit and maybe positioning lower if you want to. Walker Home Solutions, hello sir. Q&T short and medium term. Hey, thanks man. Okay, cool. Q&T short and medium term to me means like 4-hour and like 12 hours. So let's see. Let's go. Was it KuCoin that had all the data? Probably, yeah. Let's see. Daily. I mean, this thing has higher lows for a while here, as long as you're above $90, but that's not too helpful, because that means this thing can come down like a lot. What you're hoping. We're reconnected, I think. Come on. Work, you piece of shit. Yes. All right, we're working. All right, thank God. Whoopsies. Okay. Okay. So we left off QNT Quant. This one's interesting. I do give it the benefit of the doubt. As long as it's trading above 140, it is short-term sideways and up. It is still fine. It is a higher low by definition once again. But if you do spike lower, anywhere lower, sir, you okay? If we do spike any lower than yesterday's low actually, which is 142 and a quarter, I would be looking for this one to go all the way down to about 124 and let's just call it 125 actually, 125 and try for a low right there. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one. Like on the very short term time frames, it's just kind of sideways here. It is trying to put in a base right around about 141 or so, but it actually doesn't look too strong off that level. Long term, it is very good though, so I do give it the benefit of the doubt. The question to me is, do we spike a little bit lower first before playing out some more sideways and then up, or do we hold this current level about 141? I don't have an opinion right there, and I know that's not too helpful, but what I can say, even though you didn't ask about them, is the higher term time frames are still very much bullish in the way that I look at them. So I don't even measure. Well, actually, hold on. Now that I look at the bi-daily 3-day, sideways at best. Yeah, sideways at best. Okay, here we go. This makes it a lot easier. All right, here we go. We only need two things. Okay. Now I see. All right, we only need two things. Look, sideways at best between about 142, basically yesterday's low, and top side of yesterday actually as well at about 167. For a while, if you do take out yesterday's low, I would be looking for this one to falter lower towards about 125. And try for a higher low right there. And of course, if you do take out yesterday's high, I would be looking for a retest of the prior high, all-time highs in this case, and very likely new all-time highs over time. But I don't think that this thing's moving anytime soon. I do think that this one's going to take a while to resolve itself. So take that as you will. It's had a pretty fucking phenomenal run right here, alongside when most things were not. So that actually speaks volumes for itself. But I do think at best sideways right here, at best sideways for a while. So take that as you will, man. And short term very likely does test the downside first. It's down around about 144, 145 or so, and then hope that it doesn't trade below yesterday's low, because that's going to start to look like it actually does want to break down a bit. All right, cool. Oh, there's Meccan. What's up, Meccan? There it is. Love it, man. Fucking love it. Yeah, laying down the law too. My fucking man. All right, let's see. What did I leave off right here? Green Third Eye said one more for today. All good, man. LR library credits, right? Popular. USD, Binance, and we'll go daily. Oh, you said Coinbase. Well, whatever. This one's going to have more history, I suspect. Very good breakout right here. You have a very obvious basing point right around that 26.5 cent region. As long as you're above there, the direction is up, man. 34 cents is where I'd be looking towards, anywhere between about 33 to 34 cents region. Looking decent for a move right there. But again, long term, this is not the chart. This is not the chart, at least I'm looking for. I mean, made lower highs below its 2017, 2018 highs right here. That's not a sign of strength. But yeah, short term very likely does continue up with obvious targets somewhere around like, mid 30s essentially. And then kind of have to watch for Bitcoin and Ethereum to see if they keep it up as well. If they do, I'd be looking for this thing to follow through. And basically, just as a general aside, as long as you're above yesterday's spike low, or just, what is this, 26 cent, I'm going to be generally bullish on this one. But, not my favorite chart of all time, but yeah, short-term or daily momentum still looking good here. Daily Jewel still up. Daily RSI reaching for the bullish control zone, and volatility expanding. This one very likely does trade up from this region. All right, cool. Damon Zagoras says, "Hey, Krown, what's up, man? I am having a good one right now. It's fun day. It's fun day indeed. Just to clarify, would the prior daily low be 37,266? No, it would not. Well, hold on. Let me just double check here. Okay, so I suspect that you probably did that on a wick basis. Prior daily low. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you're going off the wick basis in this case. I like to go off of closing bases in this case. That would be about 38,100 actually, to be exact. That's your last daily obvious low, and then yesterday's spike low is going to very likely be seeing that over time, just because it is a bullish engulfing. So typically does speak kind of volumes for itself, but a little bit. Anyways, you're asking about this one right here. You're right. Yes, basically yes, but I use a closing basis, and that would be a little bit higher than that. Actually, not a little bit higher. It's about $1,000 higher than that. So take that as you will once again. And closing bases, I believe, are a lot more important. Also, it'll be a lot more easy to see this on a line chart. You can see right here, very, very simply. 38. Let's see exactly what it is. 38, actually 200. So yeah, it is almost a clean $1,000 above where you're suggesting. So both are valid, but closing bases, in my experience, are a lot more dependable. Chris Phillips says, thoughts on Roku 4 hour and daily? Okay, yeah. This one, we've looked at this one a few times in the past. See what it is. Okay, yeah, not bad. Actually consolidating at a very high level. I don't think it's ready anytime soon. I do think this one will trade down from here. Sir? Oh my god, man. Christ, can you ban this person for the love of God? Okay, there we go. All right, nice. Send him on a vacation. Goodbye. It's like, look, hey, understand that if you're just going to spam your token, like there's a lot of people here and it just kind of, makes things annoying for other people. So please be aware. Please be aware of the community. Anyways, Roku, I actually do like this at a high level long term. However, does this one trade back down to the 55, somewhere around like 325? Very likely, yes. Over the next, I don't know, month or two. Probably over the next month. Monthly's still good. Monthly's still actually really, really good, in fact. Maybe I could be wrong about. Maybe I am wrong about this. Hold on. Let's go to the quarterly. Quarterly's good. Quarterly's good. I'd be looking for new all-time highs, at least before end of year. Now, what time frames did you ask about on this one? 4 hour daily. All right. Let's just address what you asked about. 4 hour. I'd be looking for a bounce off this level. That being about 385. So anywhere back up to about 425 to 430 or so is where I'd be looking towards. Daily, I'd probably be looking for that area to get rejected. Trades a bit of sideways from there, and then maybe a little bit later this month you will see a move down somewhere around like, what was it, 350? Hold on, let me just double check on the weekly right here. Yeah, the weekly probably will come up to about 350, so that 325 is going to very likely get raised. Yeah, somewhere around 350 puts another higher low, and then long term continues onwards and upwards. Pretty good chart, pretty damn good chart right there. So no long term issues with this one as long as it's above about 325, especially. I do quite like that one. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, we're gonna do the last couple ones here. And just because you asked. All right, Simba wants to look at Cardano 1 hour. We've already looked at I think, or no, actually we haven't really. So why not? Sure. Hourly, looking good short term. Short term would be looking for a move towards 150. This one actually looks pretty damn primed to break as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing tag up towards like 160, 165 or so over the next I don't know, week or so. And then we'll look at API 3, last one. The last of the last, sir. The last of the Mohicans right here on KuCoin. And what do we have? Weird one. I'm not so sure about this one. Still in an uptrend on a 4 hour. Probably does come back down just around 490 or so, but that is still a higher low. Nothing bearish about this thing as long as it's above 450. Below 450, however, I'd be looking for this one to fall apart. I don't think that's what's happening, but fair enough. Do have to have your areas set out. Anyways, should we wrap up Bitcoin really, really quickly here? Bitcoin, I'd still be respectful of the higher lows in the short-term timeframes. I do expect that it will trade a little bit further north of where we're at currently. I think it's easier to see on CME chart right here. Extremely short-term, does it come back down to like $45,000? Probably yes, but ultimately, where is our momentum on these time frames? 4 hour will be turning back up with any sort of a closure above 46,450. 3 hour will turn back up with any sort of a closure above 46,450. Bi-hourly will turn back up with any sort of a closure above 46, and hourly will turn back up with any sort of a closure above 46,150 as well. So if we do start to clear those areas, I would be looking for Bitcoin to make that next leg up somewhere around 48 to 49,000 bucks, and that's at the point where I really would be on the defensive and looking to perhaps take profits. Although this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, and then look for Bitcoin to come back down and very likely try for a higher low on the medium and higher term timeframes, and that's very likely to be the next big one, at least in my opinion, on first pass. Presumably anywhere between 43,000 bucks would be fair game, but 41,000 bucks is like the obvious area. Still probably take some time, but overall, things are still looking more or less good here, I suppose. The only way that I get even short-term bearish is with a 4 hour below about 43.5. If that were to happen, yeah, things probably do fall apart a little bit, back down to like 41,000 bucks, but still, that is still higher lows, and I would actually really, really like that area myself. So, I'd actually like that to happen, but I don't think that's what's happening, at least for the short term right now. With that said, I want to wish you the best. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care, and hopefully see you very, very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, blend it, send it, swell it, sell it, click, unclick it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it, chart it, long it, short it, hedge it, post prediction, quick erase it, watch it, leave it, watch it, read it, check it, click it, and refresh it, find it, drop it, crack it, lose it, curse it, pay it to a pay it. read it, mine it, hack it, live it.